Alright NFL fans, the wait is over. The 2025-26 season is here and I'm locked and loaded ready with my predictions. But this time I'm not going it alone. It's me versus the fans versus artificial intelligence. This is going to be the ultimate gridiron showdown. Human instincts, crowd wisdom and cold, hard machine logic all battling out to see who can predict this NFL season the best. So buckle up, hit that like button and let's see if I can outsmart hundreds of die-hard NFL fans. Or if AI knows something that we don't. So let's get to it. So let's dive into the AFC East. And oh boy, this division's about to turn some heads. Starting with the New York Jets. Sorry Jets fans, but it's going to be a brutal year. I've got them limping to a 2-15 finish. New head coach, injuries, inconsistency, and a schedule that shows no mercy. Next up, the Miami Dolphins. Electric offense? Absolutely. But with too many defensive lapses and a couple of costly divisional losses, I've got them landing at 7-10. If Tua gets another concussion, it could be much, much worse. Now here's the shocker. The New England Patriots storming back into relevance. With a tough, disciplined defense and an offense finally finding its rhythm, Drake May has weapons. With experienced coaches Mike Vrabel and Josh McDaniels back in New England, I've got them at 11-6 and punching a ticket to the playoffs. And then, of course, the Buffalo Bills. Absolute dominance of the AFC East. Josh Allen and company tear through the league on their way to a jaw-dropping 15-2 record. They're not just winning the division, they're making a statement. And guess what? It's not just me. The fans picked the Bills, the AI picked the Bills. 3 for 3. The AFC East crown is staying in Buffalo. But is that where the story ends? We'll have to wait and see. Alright, let's talk AFC South, where the race is tight, but the grind is even tougher. Starting in Tennessee. The Titans show fight, but this year it's not enough. Rookie QB Cam Ward has his moments, but holes in the roster are too big to patch. I've got them at 4-13. Over in Indy, the Colts will flash some excitement, but too much is put on star running back Jonathan Taylor. Growing pains keep them from truly contending. A 5-12 season means they're still rebuilding for the future. The Jaguars. On paper they've got weapons, but inconsistency again from Trevor Lawrence drops them to 6-11. Another year of almost there for Duval. And then we have the Houston Texans. CJ Stroud shows why he's a top 10 QB in this league. The defense keeps games close, and Houston claws their way to a 9-8. Enough to grab the AFC South crown. And here's the kicker. It's not just me. The fans pick the Texans. The AI pick the Texans. All of us are in agreement. But in the NFL, agreement can be dangerous. Will Houston deliver? Or are we all about to eat our words? Time for the AFC West, one of the most cutthroat divisions in football. 4 teams, 1 crown. And more drama than a primetime soap opera. First up, the Las Vegas Raiders. The team brought in the experience of Pete Carroll and Geno Smith and also added Ashton Genty in the draft. But this roster still has too many gaps to keep up in a stacked division. I've got them at 6-11. Then we've got the LA Chargers. Justin Herbert slings it, the defense steps up just enough and they land a strong 10-7 to be right in the playoff spot mix. But will 10 wins be enough this season? Now the Denver Broncos. This is where it gets spicy. Sean Payton's system clicks. Bo Nix takes another step and that defense, legit. I got them also at 10-7, but tiebreakers will make or break their season. And of course, the Kansas City Chiefs. Mahomes is still Mahomes, and Andy Reid still owns the playbook. 13-4 and another AFC West title in the bag. That makes it 10 in a row. But here's the twist. The fans are riding with the Chiefs too, while the AI says the Broncos are taking the throne. Human brains versus machine logic. Who's getting roasted when the season ends? The AFC North, home of bad blood, bone-crunching hits, and some of the fiercest rivalries in the NFL. And this year, it's about to get wild. Starting with Cleveland. Look, Browns fans, I wish I had better news. Between injuries, tough matchups, and some flat-out ugly games, I got the Browns spiralling to 2-15. It's going to be a long season. Sanders will be the starter before the end. Up in Pittsburgh, Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers grind out wins the Mike Tomlin way. Tough defense, just enough offense. 9-8 keeps the streak of winning seasons alive, but barely. It's not enough for a playoff spot. Now, the Cincinnati Bengals. They usually start slow, but Burrow will continue to play at an MVP level, and this time his defense steps up and one-score games go in their favour. At 11-6, they're right in the playoff hunt and looking to make noise in January. And then there's Baltimore. Dominance. Lamar's on fire, the ground game's punishing, and that defense straight up suffocating. I've got the Ravens flock flying high at 13-4 and wearing the AFC North crown. And check this out, the fans pick the Ravens, the AI pick the Ravens. It's a clean sweep. But hey, in the AFC North, even a sure thing can get blindsided. Let's see if Baltimore do deliver. Now, over to the NFC, and starting with the NFC East. The division that always delivers fireworks. 4 teams, 4 massive fan bases, and only one can wear the crown this year. Starting with the New York Giants. Yikes. Between injuries, a brutal schedule, and too many unanswered questions, I've got them stumbling to 2-15. It's going to be a tough year in the Big Apple. Over in Dallas, the Cowboys stay competitive thanks to a nasty defense and flashes from Dak, but inconsistency holds them back. 9-8 keeps them in the playoff picture, but not much more than that. Now, looking to back up a strong season last time out, the Washington Commanders, pushing for the division title. With an underrated defense and an offense that continues to find its groove under second-year QB Jaden Daniels, I've got them at 11-6, just one game behind the divisional winners, and pushing for playoff glory. And then we have the Philadelphia Eagles, physical, relentless, dangerous on both sides of the ball, 12-5 and taking the NFC East crown. Will it be back-to-back Super Bowls for the Eagles? And it's not just me, the fans chose the Eagles, the AI chose the Eagles. That's a unanimous call. But in the NFC East, no crown comes easy. Rivalries here have a way of flipping the script. The NFC South, wide open, unpredictable and ready for chaos. Somebody's walking away with the crown, but this year it's more about survival than dominance. Let's start in New Orleans. The Saints have some weapons, but the pieces just don't click. Too many close losses drop them to 4-13, and they'll be looking for answers all off-season. Carolina, Bryce Young will have his moments, but the Panthers are still in rebuild mode. Another 4-13 finish keeps them in the NFC South basement. The Atlanta Falcons, a mix of highs and lows. Bijan Robinson will light up highlight reels, but inconsistency across the roster leaves them at 8-9, just short of a playoff berth. And finally there's Tampa Bay. The Buccaneers grind out wins with a fiery Baker Mayfield and a resilient defense. It won't always be pretty, but 9-8 is enough to claim the NFC South crown and playoff football in January. And look at this. The fans pick the Bucs, the AI pick the Bucs. That's a full sweep, but in this division, one bad week can flip the whole script. The NFC West, one of the most physical, high-stakes divisions in football. Rivalries run deep here, and this season, the race is going to be fierce. Starting in Arizona, the Cardinals will have flashes of excitement, but the talent gap is just too wide. 5-12 keeps them competitive in some games, but they're still building for the future. In Seattle, the magic from last season just doesn't fully return. Some close losses and defensive breakdowns have them sliding to 6-11, not where the 12th man wants to be. Then we've got the Los Angeles Rams. Stafford, hopefully healthy, and Puka Nacua making plays. 11-6 puts them right back in the playoff mix. And then the San Francisco 49ers. Loaded roster, explosive offense, suffocating defense. And this season the team is going to stay relatively healthy. At 13-4, they're not just taking the NFC West crown, they're looking like legit Super Bowl contenders. And check this out, fans say Niners, AI says Niners. That's a clean sweep. But in this division, Rivalries can flip everything on its head in just one Sunday. The NFC North. Old school rivalries, frozen tundras, and a fight that's going to go down to the wire this season. Let's start in Chicago. The Bears take a step forward with some exciting moments from Caleb Williams, but inconsistency keeps them from breaking through. 7-10, better, but not quite playoff ready this season. Up in Green Bay, Jordan Love silences any doubters for good, and the defense comes alive. 12-5 puts the Packers right in the thick of the playoff hunt, and yes, they're going to make some noise. Then the Minnesota Vikings, explosive on offense, opportunistic on defense. 13-4 puts them tied for the division lead and hungry for a deep playoff run. And then the Detroit Lions. This team is no longer the underdog, they're the hunted. Tough in the trenches, fearless in the clutch, and ready to prove they can go all the way. 13-4 and my pick for NFC North champs. Me, the fans, and the AI all agree. The Lions are kings of the North, but with 3 legit contenders, this might be the most dangerous division in football. If you're enjoying the video so far, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any of our NFL content this season. Thank you all for your support. Now back to the predictions. And so, on to the playoffs. And here's how my bracket looks based on the standings and seedings. Bills and Lions get the bye. So into the wildcard round, we have the Broncos at the Ravens, the Patriots at the Chiefs, and the Bengals at the Texans. Now I'm backing the stronger quarterback play in this, so picking the Ravens, Chiefs, and Bengals to progress to the divisional round. In the NFC side of things, we've got the Commanders at the 49ers, the Packers at the Eagles, and the Vikings at the Buccaneers. Tough games to call, but I'm backing 49ers and Eagles at home to come out on top, and the Vikings being too strong for the Buccaneers. So now on to the divisional round. 4 amazing games. The Bengals at the Bills, the Chiefs at the Ravens, the Vikings at the Lions, and the Eagles at the 49ers. Now I'm backing the Bills and Ravens at home to come out just on top to get through to the AFC Championship game. In a close battle between 2 NFC North rivals, the Vikings and Lions, I'm picking Goff and the Lions at home. And another maybe game of the week between the Eagles and the 49ers, I'm backing Jalen Hurts to get back to the NFC Championship game. So, we've made it through the regular season, the upsets, the comebacks, the heartbreaks, and now it's Championship Sunday. Only 2 tickets to the Super Bowl, and here's how I see it playing out. In the AFC, it's the Ravens heading into Buffalo to face the Bills. Josh Allen in front of the Bills Mafia, Lamar Jackson with everything to prove. This is going to be a heavyweight fight, but when the dust settles, I'm calling it. The Ravens punch their ticket to the Super Bowl. Over in the NFC, it's the Eagles marching into Detroit to face a Lions team that's been waiting decades for this moment. Philly brings the experience, but the Lions bring the destiny. Grit, heart, noise, and they pull it off. The Detroit Lions are going to the Super Bowl. So that's my Super Bowl, Ravens vs Lions. But the fans, they've got the Chiefs beating the Bills and the Lions taking out the 49ers. The AI, Chiefs over the Ravens, 49ers over the Lions. We're all seeing different paths, and only one of us is walking away with bragging rights. This is it. Human instincts versus crowd wisdom versus cold, calculated machine logic. Championship Sunday is coming, and only time will tell who called it right. So, this is it. 60 years of history, and now it all comes down to this. Super Bowl 60. The biggest stage, the brightest lights, and the ultimate bragging rights in our me versus fans versus AI showdown. My Super Bowl, the Baltimore Ravens versus the Detroit Lions. The Ravens suffocating defense, Lamar Jackson at the peak of his powers. The Lions fueled by grit, fire, and a city that's been waiting generations for this moment. But when the confetti falls, I'm calling it. This is Lamar's year, and the Baltimore Ravens hoist the Lombardi Trophy. But the fans, they see it differently. they've got Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs going toe-to-toe with Detroit. And in their script, the Lions complete the fairy tale and bring the title home to Motown. And then there's the AI, cold, calculated, no emotion. Chiefs versus 49ers, a rematch of past battles. And in the machine's mind, Mahomes walks away a champion again. 3 visions, 3 storylines, but only one reality. Will it be human instincts, the wisdom of the crowd, or cold, hard machine logic that rules Super Bowl 60? Let us know in the comments. Thank you all for watching, and if it hasn't started already, may the bashing in the comments begin. Remember to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any of our NFL content this season. We've got predictions, rankings, live streams, and so much more. If you ever want to know what it's like to go to an NFL game in the UK, make sure you watch this video next. We'll see you next time.